What's up, people? It's day 10, 10, 10, 10. All right, 10, 10 wins. Anyway, today we're talking about some of the biggest mistakes I see new spice brands make. All right, so stay tuned, lock in, and let's go through these mistakes so you don't make them. So, most spice brands don't really fail because of the product per se, but because of the bad decisions. The decisions that come from not having the proper information or not having access to the necessary information that is needed to start a brand, to scale a brand, to grow, to make that brand what it is. All right. If your spice brand is not selling spices, chances are you're making one of these mistakes that we're about to go into. Let's jump in. One, a lot of people focus on flavor instead of the process, instead of learning how to sell, right? Because what ends up happening is people spend a lot of time focusing on the perfect blend, the perfect taste, the perfect this, the perfect that, but then don't actually know how to sell. And if you look around right now, there are tons of spice companies out there, and some of them, the spices are actually not that good, but they're selling a ton because they know how to sell. So if you can sell and you know how to sell and then have a bomb product on top of that, you're going to win. Like, there's no stopping you, right? If you have a bad product and you know how to sell, you're still going to win, right? But if you have a bad product and you don't know how to sell, you're definitely not winning. If you have a good product and you don't know how to sell, you're still not winning. You get it? Number two is starting with way too many products, way too many SKUs. All right. You almost give off confusion because you're trying to promote so many different spices, so many different seasonings at once that you can't really focus down on the one or two that you need to sell, right? So you're better off starting with one than starting with five, starting with 10. You don't need to have this massive, collection, this lookbook. You don't need to have this insane offering to make money. Like, you can literally just start with one and do that really well. All right. Think of this saying: be afraid of the person that does one kick 10,000 times than does 10,000 different kicks. Right? You see what I'm saying? Like, hone in, focus on one thing, get really amazing at that, and then you can start with other spices and seasonings. This is one of mine that I hold close and dear to my heart because I'm all about packaging, right? And you want to be careful to not make your packaging look cheap. You don't want to go cheap. Like, you don't have to break the bank, but you don't want to go cheap, because going cheap and just kind of slapping on a sticker on there that sort of looks like a label takes away from the trust. Like, you want to build trust. You want to put yourself in a place where your product looks premium, even though it might not be, but that's what it gives off. Anything less than that, it runs the risk of your product looking amateur, and we don't want that. And remember, people will judge your seasoning before they can even taste it. So remember, people eat with their eyes. So if someone sees your packaging and your seasoning, even though it might taste amazing, if it looks like some rinky-dink situation and it looks like it might not be clean, it might not be safe, you wrote the name, there's just certain things that spell don't trust, right? So you want to be careful with that. The other thing you want to be careful with is the fact that you don't want to say this works with everything, you can use it on anything. Like, that's too broad. People that do that, they're trying to sell to everyone, and that's the biggest mistake. You want to niche it down. You want to pick a specific group of people and sell to those people, because then you can speak to their pain points. No content means no sales, right? This is the other mistake that people make. They launch the product, there's no videos, there's no content, there's no posting, there's no storytelling, there is no nothing, right? You have to be able to put out information out there so people can see you, they can find you. You have to have attention. If there's no attention, there's no sales. Like, if people don't know you exist, how are they going to buy from you? And how do people know that you exist? by you creating content, by you putting content out there, by you answering questions about people asking about spices and seasonings, right? About you posting information, about you posting content about how to use the seasonings, how to use other types of seasonings, right? You have to create the want and the attention so people can then come to you. So most people end up failing because of not having a proper plan or a strategy in place versus not having a good product, right? It always comes back to the systems, to the process, to creating a strategy that allows you to execute flawlessly from A to Z. Now, if you see yourself in this list, right, that I've mentioned, then not to worry. You're actually in a good place because that means you can fix it. All right. Don't give up. If this is really your goal and your dream, you can do it. You just need to do some tweaks. You just need to have a strategy and a plan. So if you're serious about starting a spice line, you don't need more recipes. You don't need the perfect recipe. What you need is a plan. You need a strategy. You need resources. You need things that will set you up and put you in the right place. If you would like to learn more, if you would like assistance in starting your own spice line, then you know what to do. Hit me up and let me guide you. I've launched over 40 different products, probably more than that, 40 that I can remember, right? And I've done it effortlessly and easy for other people as well. So let me guide you along this journey. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow for number 11, day 11. Peace.